Welcome back. As protesters take to the streets across the country to continue to speak out against decisions made in some of the police-related killings in Ferguson, Staten Island, et al., demonstrators are also preparing to storm the nation's capital. Storm may be a little strong. We're not sure exactly the size of the crowds, but tomorrow, Reverend Sharpton is holding a national march in D.C., and we will have coverage from Washington tomorrow. But tonight, our own Dominic Carter, he is in the district with a preview. Dominic.
And good evening, Richard, and welcome to the nation's capital. We are on Pennsylvania Avenue. It is at this avenue where tomorrow afternoon and morning time, this march will occur. There have been protests throughout the country for the last couple of weeks, and we have all been aware of that. But tomorrow, this is the central location. It will be led by the Reverend Al Sharpton, as we all know, but it will also include the family of Eric Garner and the parents of Michael Brown and Trayvon Martin. So it's going to be a very interesting day here in the nation's capital, and of course we will be here for every step along the way. Reporting tonight from Washington, I'm Dominic Carter. Richard, let's go back to you in the studio.
That's right, Dom, and please tune in tomorrow. We'll have coverage of it, and a really interesting table conversation as well. That's tomorrow, Saturday the 13th, and again, we'll have analysis from the Capitol as well as the desk here. That again at 6 p.m. All right, we're now going to turn back to New York, where Mayor de Blasio is facing some heat after skipping a funeral service for former Hispanic Congressman Herman Badillo. Noted politicians like former New York Mayor David Dinkins, Rudy Giuliani, they attended Sunday's service. Even former Secretary of State and one-time New York Senator Hillary Clinton, she called personally Badillo's widow, to pay her respects. But Mayor de Blasio, he was spotted instead at the same time working out at a local gym while the service was underway. Now, Badillo's wife, Gail Badillo, speaking out to WABC saying, what a terrible insult. What a terrible insult. Here the mayor is supposed to represent all the people, and there are a few Hispanics in this city. Maybe he should take notice. Now the mayor, we know, has faced other criticism over maybe not so much of delicate touches or not reading necessarily the public tea leaves, including his handling of the wife of his chief of staff, Rachel Nordlinger, who was blasted by the media, over her live-in boyfriend, who's a convicted felon, son who was recently arrested. De Blasio also showed up late to a memorial for victims of the Flight 587 crash. Attendees say the mayor didn't even apologize for the tardiness, which they found to be disrespectful. The mayor was also criticized for, again, that press conference where he positioned Reverend Sharpton on equal playing field with Police Commissioner Bratton following the death of Eric Garner. And there's more. Listen, I think there's a credit and debit here. I think on the credit side, the mayor has gotten a lot of things through pre-K funding. We can go through all of that. But there has been a repeated sense, especially from folks who's covered, Gracie Mansion, have covered the mayoralty, that there's a tone deafness to him. Forget about the perpetual lateness. And I guess the question is it him? I know the buck stops with his office, or is he just surrounded by folks? If you have a good office, you say, whatever you do, you're not leaving this room till you pick up the phone and you call the widow and at least pay your respects if you're not going to go there. Nobody lets that go by because it becomes a story, let alone that it's just not right. Which one is he, you think?
The buck does stop with the elected official. It's his name on the ballot. He's the mayor. It's his name on the door. But you do need to surround yourself with people who know what the process for running a big office in a big city could look like. I haven't done this at the city level, but having worked on this statewide for Senator Schumer, your eyes would roll into the back of your head with the sheer volume of calls we had discussing scheduling requests, what was going on in Long Island, Binghamton, Albany, Rochester, Syracuse, the Hudson Valley, Central New York, everywhere. And let's go over this again.
Somebody
and let's come
had
back
to say, Badillo's a historic figure in New York City. You got to at least pay your respects, right?
New York City is filled with talented people who've been in and out of government from Ed Koch's time on forward, and they're still active. And to have them come in and actually set up managerial systems and say, this is what it looks like, and you're right, you're not leaving until you make this call. That should be happening. And it seems there's too much of a disconnect.
I agree. I think you need the person who does that, who says, no, I'm sorry, you can't go to the gym. You absolutely can't. I'm sorry, I know you're the mayor and I'm the staff, but you can't go to the gym.
They save it from yourself sometimes, right?
Absolutely. And there's a million minefields. Every day is a mistake to be made. And you need very talented staff in a city as complicated as New York to avoid them. And he has fallen in a few. Now, I give him a lot of credit for the substance he's done, and I don't think we should let this detract from the substance.
But the optics don't look good. And it's
Well,
coming to define
that's a
his
little bit of our
administration.
inside baseball, in my opinion.
But there's also a media environment. The New York Post is looking
Yep.
for reasons to
Yes.
ding him. So
It's
would
not
they-
inside baseball when you miss a big funeral. That's out there for the whole world to see. That's
And by
not
the way,
inside.
it's
That's
not just the Post, even the Daily News, when they're all slapping it on the front page, it detracts from the real substance stuff, the real policy stuff here. And it's been a year. The honeymoon, you get a pass for 60,
and think
90
about
days.
the politics of it too. Like the widow said, this is the Hispanic community. There's no inside baseball. There's a few million offended people, right? A few 100,000 at least.
Well, when we come back here, I'm going to go around the table. A lot of interesting topics this week I want to get people's take on. Plus, we'll also recognize a person from our region who's going above and beyond this holiday season. Stay with us.